Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners. This evening, I have Brian Brookhart with me to talk about the storm that's going to take place this week and do a wrap-up on our storm event that they just got done taking care of on the 24th and 5th. Give us a cost on that, as well as our preparedness for this next round.
Thank you and good evening. As you're all well aware, there is a pretty good potential that we're going to see our most significant snowstorm that we've seen this season. Here, starting sometime late tomorrow, running through Thursday and early on Friday. There's a potential that we're definitely going to see rain. We could see sleet and freezing rain and ice after that. And then on top of that, we could possibly get up to 10 to 12 inches of snow. So we're very likely going to see everything that you could possibly see during a weather event in about a 24-hour period. So I just wanted to inform you and the citizens that we're well prepared for this event. We have two shifts staffed. We'll be running 24 hours a day as soon as we need to start to do that. We'll run a shift from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. will be our first shift, and a second shift will be from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. That's when we'll be switching employees to keep our staff fresh, make sure that they stay safe when they're out on the roadway. Just a little information, over the last snow event that happened on the 24th and the 25th, just so everybody's aware, the total cost of that event, this includes salt that we used, our employees, the cost, recovery for using our vehicles. That snow event total was about $10,448.34 for that event. We used we didn't use a lot of salt. We used about 71 tons of salt for that event. So far this year, we've been very fortunate. We've used less than 150 tons of salt so far this season. I anticipate we're going to use a little bit here over the next day or so, probably a little bit more than we have so far this year. But we are well stocked. About a week ago, I ordered an additional 400 tons of salt. It only took about 5 days to get that supply in. So our salt shed is completely full, and we are well stocked and well prepared for the snow event coming up here. Just so you and the citizens are aware of what we do and how we do it, how we go about treating the roadways, what we look at as priorities, what we look at as secondary streets, just so everybody's aware of that. This is something that we'll get this published out on the website so people can go there and look at that and understand this is what we prioritize and try to take care of first. The streets that we look at as priority streets we look at, what does emergency personnel need to use to get to every subdivision, to get to areas of town, to safely get back and forth and get you wherever you need to be, getting you to whatever hospital or outside of town. So we look at those roadways first. We spend the most time on those, try to keep those treated as best as possible during the event. After the event is done, it stops snowing. We go through and we clean all the mains up from curb to curb. We salt everything. And then after that, we go into the secondary roadways and do the same thing. I anticipate this event will get drug out a little bit. It'll be a long snow event. It will be difficult for us to deal with. Secondary roads, I would not anticipate seeing asphalt possibly for several days, maybe even a little bit longer after that. There's going to be a lot of wind that's going to come in with this storm. So there will be blowing and drifting that we're going to have to deal with. I think it's going to be a heavy, wet snow that'll make it a little more difficult to deal with and get rid of. So I just want everybody to be prepared for that. We will do the best that we can to get everything cleared up, cleaned up, and treated. But the weather will be against us afterwards because the temperatures are going to drop over the weekend. Friday night, it's going to get into the single digits to near -2 degrees. On Saturday night, it's going to be even colder than that. So it'll definitely be difficult to get this to melt off and go away. Hopefully we get the better end of this storm than the worse end, but we'll deal with whatever we get. So I just want to talk to you real quick about our winter maintenance operations, how we do that. We follow a winter maintenance plan. It provides a uniform understanding of our priorities and procedures, and how we combat snow and ice with all different winter-related conditions on our public roadways. Each storm is unique and has different characteristics and factors, such as the intensity of the storm, the duration of the storm, wind, the temperature, the moisture content, all affects how we have to deal with that. This all affects the total amount of snow and ice accumulation, hence influencing the methodology we use to combat the resulting snow and ice-related conditions. Our Public Works Department attempts to maintain safe roadways for travel for the public. Residential streets will not always be free of ice and snow-packed pavement based on the size and the duration of the snow event. When we only get a couple inches of snow during an event, it's a lot easier for us to get everything treated and everything back to nice, clean asphalt in a pretty quick fashion. When you're looking at more than 4 to 5 inches of snow, and this time we're looking up to possibly a foot of snow, it will take a lot longer to deal with this. By the time we get to a lot of the secondary roadways, people have driven on them because everybody has to still get it in and out and get back and forth to work, get to appointments that they need to, and that packs that snow down and makes it extremely difficult for us to get it back down to the pavement. So it's been a while since we've had a large snow event. It was about last March when we had our last one. We had a little over 8 inches. Hopefully people remember that, and it does take a little bit of time to get around everywhere, but we'll get there eventually. So what roads get salted and plowed first? Like I said, first priority are our main streets listed in each area. We have the city split up in 5 different snow routes. There's a downtown route, there's a north end route, there's a Park Ridge route, the Shawnee route, and we have a Candlewood route. That's how we identify each one of our snow routes, just to identify them. Every route has main streets that we take care of first, and I identified each one of those streets on each one of the routes, so you can see what those are, and the residents can see what those are as well. And the downtown route, for example, US 36 East, that's one that we take care of first. Spring Street, Main Street, Wayne, Downing, Broadway, College, High Ash, Green, and North Street. And I also listed the streets, those are the main streets that we take care of, and I listed the streets, the in-between streets. So US 36, for example, we're treating it, for the downtown route, they're taking care of between College and Garbury Road. That's their priority. We have one truck dedicated to each one of these routes. We will have 9 trucks available that we have ready and prepared for this snow event. We will have them out, hopefully out on every shift, as long as we can keep everything up and running. I will keep you all updated, hopefully every 4 to 6 hours, to let you know how the event is going, how we're doing. If we have trucks that are broke down, I will keep you informed of that. So if you're getting phone calls, you can let citizens know how we're doing, maybe why it's taking us a little bit longer, because it might be because I have 6 trucks sitting in my garage waiting to get repaired. It happens when you get these kind of events. They do tend to break down occasionally. So that's just one route and one example. You'll be able to read through this list through each route and see what we identify as main streets. And then as soon as we get these treated and taken care of, then we get out and get to the secondary streets. With the ice coming in first, the extra 4 trucks that we'll have out there on routes, I'm going to try to get into secondary streets, hopefully get a coating of salt down on the streets before the snow starts. and that's our goal. That's what we hope to be able to do, but it's all up to Mother Nature and what we get and how quickly those transitions happen and how much time we have to be able to make that happen.
I was going to ask, how's that work with rain coming in? Can you
Yeah,
even, like,
with the rain coming in, unfortunately, there's nothing we can go out and pre-treat or do anything ahead of time. All the salt residue that we have out there, that would have been a big help if that was still out there. If we would get ice on top of that, well, that would just already help start to melt that. We're probably going to get up to an inch of rain. That's going to rinse all the salt off of the roads that we have out there right now. So I'm going to have a staff on standby tomorrow. I'm just going to keep them here at work because we're not 100% sure exactly when this will start. Sometime probably between 5 o'clock and 8 o'clock in the evening. They're predicting that it's going to switch from rain to sleet and freezing rain, and I want to make sure that we can get out right away and start getting roads treated as soon as possible. So a few things to think about, just some tips to help keep our crew safe and to keep you safe while we're out salting and traveling. Give the plow and salt trucks plenty of room to maneuver when we're out there. When we're applying salt and plowing snow, the plow drivers are required to change lanes, back up, make more frequent stops and maneuvering multiple times, especially at intersections when we're removing snow from the roadway. It is important to leave as much distance as you can when you're behind a plow truck. Sometimes we have to make sudden stops. Our truck may have run out of salt. We have to lift our beds up to get salt back to the back and then drop them back down. When we have to do that, sometimes we just have to stop right in the middle of the street so we don't miss areas when we're treating out on the roadways. So please pay attention when you're out there. When you see our trucks out there, please slow down, give our drivers some extra space just to keep everybody safe when we're out there. Try not to pass the trucks when you see us out there. If you see the trucks out there, we're out there because the roadways are slick and we're trying to get them treated and make your travel as safe as possible. So just be careful when you see us out there. Think about when you're shoveling your sidewalks, when you're shoveling your driveways, try not to throw the snow back out into the roadway. It happens a lot. I see snow blowers pushing it back out into the street. I understand we're pushing it up on top of you. Just put it in your yard. It's not going to hurt anything. Try not to put it back out on the street. We don't want to have to come back, and we don't want to create another hazard or have to come back and plow little sections off because it got blown right back out into the street again. Thinking about the fire hydrants that are around your house. If there is a fire hydrant near your curb, please try to get it uncovered. We do not have enough staff to go out during or even after any snow event to uncover fire hydrants. So if you have one near you, if you or a neighbor or somebody can take care of that's well appreciated. One question that always comes up, what do I do about those large lumps of snow that end up at the end of my driveway when there's large amounts of snow out on the road? Snow plows typically leave large amounts of snow at the end of driveways because we are clearing the roadway from the center of the roadway to the curb. So we can make the streets passable so you can hopefully park along your curb and keep the streets safe. If there's 8 inches of snow out on the middle of the roadway, The first pass, we're pushing 8 inches. The second pass, now we're pushing about 16 inches. The third pass, we're pushing even more. And that is leaving a very large amount of snow, unfortunately, at the end of your driveway. There are thousands of drive approaches in Piqua, and we cannot possibly go around and clear every driveway approach in town. We do not have enough staff, we don't have enough funding to be able to do that. If you're able to, please go out and help your neighbor. You know, if you have an elderly neighbor, you know somebody that needs help, please go out and just try to give them a hand. I mean, we do our best. We don't want to bear you up and make it impossible for you to get out of the end of your driveway, but it's something that every community has to deal with that during a large snow event. It's a nature of that. And I don't like it any better than anybody else does. I have to clean my driveway out. I know the city manager does as well. We bury his as well as anybody else's. So, but no, it's not anything that we do intentionally. It's just the snow has to roll off one direction and it rolls off to the right. People have asked us in the past, well, you know, can't you straighten your blades out as you go down the curb line? Well, if we do that, the snow is just going to roll off 2 different directions. Now we're pushing snow back out into the street that we just cleared off, and we don't want to leave that back out there and have to make an additional pass down the road. You know, it has to go from the center of the road all the way over the curb. So just be careful when we're out there. We do the best that we can. And just be aware that we'll be out there 24 hours a day until we get everything cleaned up. If you have any questions during the event, don't hesitate to call our department. Our phone number is listed on the website. It's 778-2095. We're always happy to answer any questions. I put a couple old maps that we've used for quite a while in here. They're not real legible, but they're highlighted, and they roughly show the areas that we're taking care of on each route, and what the mains are that we take care of first are highlighted. The secondaries are off to the side. Once we get our GSI up to date, this is what one of our new maps will look like. This is 95% done. We don't quite have it finished to be able to publish it out there yet, but this is what it'll look like. The streets that you see out there highlighted in white, those are all the mains that we take care of in Piqua. Everything highlighted in blue that you see on that map are secondary streets. And very soon here, we'll be able to get that up on our website as well, so people can see that. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer anything that I didn't go over or explain.
Just from my standpoint, where I live at on the Shawnee Hill, my road, and I went out and drove around the town and looked at it after this last snow event that we had. When you guys come back to clear those secondary streets, the entrances that exit off the hills, I guess maybe if we can put a little bit more emphasis of salt on those, because there are multiple times that I go down there because I hear vehicles that can't get up onto Carr Street off of Main. So that prompted me to go out and take a look at some of these other streets that have entrances off hills. If we could start putting some emphasis on those for our citizens so they can access their roads as well after the main roads are done, that would be great.
Absolutely. There's always a little bit of a lag when you go to take off from an intersection too. There's a slight lag between when when everything starts to turn on and when you're salting. When you slow down and come to a stop, there's just a real short period of time. Those are tough areas, but we certainly will pay attention to that and do the best we can with that.
Great.
Thank you for the comment.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Do you know, for clarification, I remember last year during the snow event, there was a lot of comments about alleyways. Obviously, I think you're going to have your primaries, your secondaries. Where do alleyways stand on that?
We don't have the staff and capability to go through every alley. There's almost 30 miles of alleys in town, and we don't have the equipment to be able to go through and plow every alley out right now. That may be something that you want to look at in the future. That would be looking at getting probably some smaller equipment and trucks to get in and out of those alleys. taking our bigger trucks through those alleys loaded down with salt and those bigger plows, they won't last long.
Yeah, and I understand, I just know there was a lot of comments, so I want to set those expectations for people to not count on that.
That's not something
And we've been
we'll-
talking a lot about the alleyways and maintaining them, and running those types of trucks are just really hard on them as it is.
Yeah.
But I just know a lot of people are concerned, waiting for them to get done, and just be aware that that may not actually happen. So.
Yes.
If this storm comes through, Amy, how would that affect you on the alleyways that we still have service in?
Yeah, we'll do our best. We've always had that issue going in and out of alleys. They don't typically get plowed, so our trucks do the best they can. We have had some instances in the past where we just couldn't get down an alley safely, so we just either walked to get trash that we could get, or it just simply didn't get done that week. That's extremely rare, though. Our employees, typically want to get the job done.
Okay.
Thanks for that update. Really valuable. I love the list of the routes. I mean, that really helps understand and where they're at, because I know a lot of people are, it takes a few days, and the first part of it, you're just really just trying to keep up with the snow event.
Yeah,
That helps a lot.
Yeah, after you get an accumulating snow like that, when the snow stops, it takes us 8 hours, sometimes up to 8 hours or longer, just to get the mains completely cleared off. After the mains are done, it takes us 2 or 3 times that long to get through all the secondaries, because, it's not just 1 or 2 passes down a lot of these streets. When you think about Looney Road, you think about State Route 36. I mean, that's 6 or 8 passes up and down each one of those roads to get the snow cleared from the center of the roadway to the edge. And then you're going back and salting that roadway as well. So it's very time consuming when you get a significant snowfall.
Did you say those routes were going to be published out there or put out
Yes,
there?
yes.
Okay.
We'll try to get that out on the website tomorrow so people can look at that
That's
and
great.
see
Thank
what
you.
the priorities are.
So one other follow-up question that I have for some of our senior citizens that live on corner lots. I know a lot of the times, especially where the ADA ramps are at, you might see piles of snow that are 2, 5, 6 feet tall sometimes, depending on what the snow event looks like. Now, to me, when I look at that, our plows are pushing that up there. So, is there an expectation that we have to have them out there and get those cleared off? Because if you have a senior citizen, they can't go out there and move that much snow.
No, the expectation is not there. You're not going to be able to move that much snow, and we know that, and we understand that. I mean, when you get to a corner, you have to push it up on the corner. We can only move it so far. We don't want to push it too far up beyond the curb and the sidewalk. We don't want to get in the lawns, and I know you are looking at very, very large amounts of snow when you get around a lot of the corners, and we don't expect anybody. We know no one has the equipment that we do to be able to take care of those larger.
Because I know that's one of the things, one of the comments that we received last year, well, it was from that March event that we had, that, the city buried our sidewalks in, why do we have to go out and shovel them? And you don't know how to react to that. So, being able to pass it on to our citizens that plowed up snow is just, it is what it is.
Yeah, when you're driving down the road, you can't push that snow at 5 miles an hour. It just rolls back off the blade the opposite way. You have to be going at a speed fast enough that it's rolling off the blade, and when it rolls off the blade, it rolls into the grass in between the curb and the sidewalk. It will roll up onto the sidewalk. I mean, we try not to get it up on the sidewalk, but we have to have enough momentum that the truck continues to be able to go down the street. Because in heavy snows, even those big trucks will come to a dead stop if you don't have enough momentum.
Yeah. All righty, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Ryan, would you put the cost of the event on our website?
We can certainly do
So that
that.
our citizens can see how many men, how many trucks, fuel, salt,
Yes.
each event cost?
Yeah. It's a great thing for everybody to see. That way, if people would like, a better response, more of a response, well, it'll take more funding and vehicles and employees that we were able to put on each one of these events. And that really shows. I mean, this shows the total cost and what it takes to do all that. So,
If you have 2 shifts, how many per shift, trucks and men or equipment?
yes, as long as we can keep all the vehicles running, we'll have 9 trucks out 24 hours a day.
Okay.
Now, understand, a few of our trucks are 2005 models. They're not very reliable and tend to break down more, but we have 5 extremely reliable vehicles. We've been very fortunate and have gotten us through most every storm that we've had with very little issues. So,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Please let your department know how much we appreciate them. I know especially the last event we had, they did a great job. A lot of good comments on Facebook about that, but it's not easy, and it's a lot of hours. It's a lot of frustrating hours at times, I think. We've had those videos of people trying to plow in the midst of blizzard-like conditions, and we just hope they stay safe in the midst of trying to keep our streets clear. So please let them know how much we appreciate them.
Yes, thank you. Will do. Thank you.